All right, my next guest says you do not need a Hollywood bank account to travel like an A-lister. Here to break down how we can score lavish celebrity trips for a fraction of the price is president and founder of Travelmation, my friend Adam Duckworth is back. I am so excited to hear this.
Oh, well, first of all, I always love chatting with you. It's so great to see you, and I can't wait to chat about how you can travel like an A-lister, but without the price tag.
All right, let's get into this, because celebs spend millions to travel in total seclusion. Can we really emulate that without draining our savings?
So obviously, everybody wants to travel like a Hollywood celebrity. That's everyone in life's goal, to be able to do that. But you can do so in certain circumstances, really at a fraction of that price, because there's a lot of things that people don't know about that you can scratch the surface on, still have a similar experience, and have an A-list experience. So let's get into them.
All right, here we go. Let's start with the ultimate status symbol, the private jet.
Yeah.
Traditional private jets cost a fortune. How do we get around that?
Okay, so PJs are the ultimate luxury in the sky, right? But they're going to cost you between $500,000 and $3 million a month just to lease one to be able to use it whenever you want. So companies know that people love this experience. So let's take National Geographic, for example. They have launched a private jet experience where you can go and travel to different locations. Now, you're with a smaller group, but you can do that in a 757 that's private, actually, has that kind of experience. Now, it starts at really expensive, Kit. I want to lay this out there. Starts at around $75,000 for that trip. However, everything's included, from your gratuities to your hotels, but you get that experience. So that gives you a fraction of the cost of leasing a plane with Nat Geo.
Interesting. Is there even a cheaper option?
Yeah, there is. So people are getting into this, as I said. Have you heard of JSX?
Yes.
JSX.
I've traveled. They're phenomenal.
They're phenomenal. One of my favorites. Started here in California. And now they're expanding all over the country. There's some in Florida, where I live as well. But you're talking between $1,200 and $1,500 a seat. Private hangars, private terminals show up right before boarding. And you got about 30 people on the plane. And I have friends who just booked it, going to Lake Tahoe, going to Reno. That's where they're going to go to Lake Tahoe. It was just a few $100 more than Southwest. It's awesome.
I booked it to San Francisco with my dad and daughters, and it was almost is the same price as a regular flight.
It can be.
And you don't have to wait in lines and the security thing.
You can take your dog all the time if you want to. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Incredible. All right. Next up, celebs love renting out entire islands for privacy. How do we copy that?
Okay, so let's just take Necker Island, for example. Branson's Island, between $100 and $200 a night. Of course, that is the goal for people, to be able to have that experience. Who wouldn't want the beach? Who wouldn't want seclusion? Who wouldn't want that luxury? But obviously, that's out of the range of many, many folks who are human beings. And last time I checked, there's a lot of humans who can't afford that. So my thing is, I love the Maldives. I love Bora Bora, and I love St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so you're actually seeing some clips right now of these overwater bungalows, which have become very popular. So if folks want seclusion and not paying a private island price, you can get an overwater bungalow. Of course, you can go higher end with this too. Pools, chefs, the whole deal. We're going to talk about that. But you can actually get this for around $1,000 a night.
Wow.
So versus $200,000 to rent a private island, you could get this starting at $1,000. Of course, it goes up from there. Last time I checked, that's about 0.5% of what it would cost to go to Necker.
Right, gorgeous. What about mega yachts? We always see the paparazzi snapping all the photos, everybody looking fabulous in their bikinis. How do we get that, Adam?
So yachts are so popular. I don't know if you know this about me, but I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is the yachting capital of the world.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and yachts are everywhere in my community. You could rent a yacht based on size, crew, all that stuff, for around $1 million a week on the high end. That's a lot of money to rent a yacht for a week. But some of the hoteliers and cruise lines have gotten in this game, like Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection. They have launched their brand. They have about 300 guests on board, 10,000 a head. Last time I did math, that's significantly cheaper than $1 million.
Yeah.
And you get a yachting style experience along the way. Kit, let me tell you about another brand that I love. It's new. It's Explora Journeys. Explora Journeys is a boutique cruise line sailing the high seas, about 600 guests on board, and it is phenomenal. I like to call it the West Elm at sea. I don't know if they would like that, but that's how I describe it. Fresh wood, light wood aesthetics. And you know what Explora has? Rolex boutiques on board, with Rolexes guaranteed to be in stock. And I don't know if you know, Rolexes have been hard to come by. Explora between $3,500 and $7,000 a head, the way to go.
Oh, this is unbelievable. All right, finally, celebs never drive themselves or cook their own meals. How do you get that treatment?
Okay, so a lot of times people hear private driver, private chef, and they start to get overwhelmed by the price. And what I say is, don't get overwhelmed. It actually is not that expensive. Now, you can do expensive scenarios there, but we just had guests who booked with our company, and they went to Paris, and we got them a private driver to the city, to their hotel, and it was cheaper than a rideshare.
Wow, I believe that.
Yeah, and so it's all about knowing what you know. I just went to Vegas. I had a driver with me for 4 days, taking me around. The price, when he gave it to me at the end, I was like, that's all? Like, it would have cost me more to Uber or Lyft everywhere than doing that. The same can be true about private chefs. So people go, oh, that's going to cost me a lot. Yeah, there's a price tag that goes along with it, but think around $150 a head for a chef to come into your Airbnb or your villa, prepare this exquisite spread. And by the way, the experience would be so unique, and you're going to spend it at a restaurant
anyway.
You are. And best advice I can give you here, Kit, you want to do that stuff, book with a travel advisor. Travel advisors have all of these people right in their Rolodexes, be able to give you that A-list experience at a fraction of the cost.
I'm traveling with my friend Adam Duckworth is what I'm telling you. Great job.
Thank you, Kit.
For more incredible travel tips and to start planning your next A-list getaway, be sure to visit the Travelmation website. We'll be right back, everybody. It is